In this tutorial, we'll be creating a sky for our room set. So I've already went through the process of doing this, and I'm inside the Vicious engine right now with my island. I'm in the game map, so I'm in the physics demo map that we put our island in. And just to show you what the sky will look like, I'm going to go ahead and click run. Now you can see that in our island we have a sky. Now I'm going to look around the sky a little bit so you can see it, and you'll notice that as I look around, the sky seams are showing because the sky image that I chose was not a seamless texture. So let me look straight up and you can actually see what the shape of the mesh is that we are inside of. So we actually are inside of this huge prism. So let me close this. Now we're going to go through the process of adding a sky, but we're going to try to select a seamless sky so that those seams will not show up. So let's first minimize this. And for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to grab one off the internet real quick. So I'm typing in seamless sky textures and looking at the images. You can see a whole bunch of images on here. This one says it's seamless, and it looks like it might be, because if you look to the left, it looks like it might run into whatever's on the right. So let's go ahead and choose that one and say see full size image. So there's my texture that I'm going to grab. I'm going to right click on it and say save picture as. I'm going to save this to my desktop. I'm going to call it sky_test and click save. Now I'm going to go ahead and close the internet. So now you can see the sky_test on the desktop. We need to open that with Photoshop. Now we have the sky texture open. We're going to resize it first. So image size. And remember, we want it to be a power of 2. So 1024 is a power of 2. And 512 is also a power of 2. So those are both okay. The other thing we need to do is make sure we save it as a target file. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to call it sky_test, but I'm going to change the format or the file type to Targa, and make sure it's on the desktop and click Save. We'll save it as 24 bits per pixel and click OK. And now we can go ahead and close Photoshop. And now you'll see on the desktop that I have the sky test JPEG file and the sky test target file. So now I'm going to go to my computer. Remember that we want to go to the hard drive and the program files, over to Vicious Engine v2.5 in the bin folder, in the data PC folder, and in the TGAs folder. Remember, that's where all of the target files for our textures are saved. And I'm just going to drag and drop the sky_test. And now it should be in here. See sky_test. I'm going to right click on that and say properties. I just want to make sure that it is not read-only, and that's good. We don't want it to be read-only because it hasn't been checked into the server yet. And we'll say OK. And now we can go ahead and close that. Bring the Vicious Engine editor back up. And now with the game open, with the correct physics demo map open, and you're looking at your island, we are going to go ahead and click on default environment. And right now it's physics room env. So click on that, and then we're going to create a new sky. So under sky, hit the little asterisk, that's the create. We'll name it sky_test. And we want to change the pre-scene geom templates and raise that to 1. We're going to hit the create and choose static model template. And you can see it says static model template here. And for the name, we're going to say sky_test. Now we're going to click on the plus sign next to the mesh. That means we're going to be pulling it off of the disk or off the server. And we're going to use ch_sunset. This is the mesh that actually gives us the shape of the object that we're going to be enclosing the island in, that the sky is actually going to be painted on. So it's the prism that we saw earlier. And we're going to set the surface to the CH sunset. And for the material set, we're going to create a new one. Let's call this sky_test. And then for the materials, we'll raise that to 1. And we'll hit the Create tab. And we're going to use a 1-pass model material. Again, we'll call that sky_test. And now we're going to go under Textures, where it says Diffuse, and we're going to create a new texture. Let's make that a texture map. And let's select sky_test. You'll see it right there. And you can see it down on the bottom of the screen down here, that we have the correct texture selected. And let's go back 1 so that we're under the 1-pass model material again. And we want to choose the no Z right and the no Z test, and make sure both of those boxes are checked. That'll save processing time. And let's try running it now. So we're going to click on the Run button. It'll make us save everything that we've done. Now you can see it's a different sky than I had before. Let's look up and see if we see any seams. And you can kind of, when you get high enough up, you can kind of see the seams up there. So it's not the best texture in the world, but it's much better than the one we had before. Especially lower, it's really hard to see any seams. So looks like a pretty realistic sky. So now we know how to create a sky and put it into our room set.